morning, people of the fabulous world.
Good morning.
I've been live for a few seconds. My name is Natalie Elliott. This is Amanda Blacks and the fabulous Jessica Renard. And we are here today to have fun and laugh and hopefully talk about something that might be hopefully a benefit to you in your life. That is what we'd like to do. So we're going to talk about, because all of the topics that I had on my list seem utterly boring and not worthy of August the 8th, 2025. All right. So we're going to talk about what apparently everybody else is talking about is the kiss cam, the couple that got caught on the kiss cam at the Coldplay concert. I got to say, Coldplay probably got a boost in revenue just from I honest to God, I hadn't thought about Coldplay in a while. Like, I know they exist and everything. I just hadn't thought about them. But now it's like, what are you doing? Like, let me go listen to some Coldplay music. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. So have both of you guys seen it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What have the conversations that you've been in thus far yielded? Any new epiphanies or understandings or insight about the world in which we presently live?
I thought it was interesting because it felt very marginal, but I kept seeing like Facebook reels reenacting it, or with different people, or like it just seemed to be of a fascination to people. And then I got a newsletter from Dr. Marty Klein on the 25th of July, and I was like, this is fascinating because he brings in all of these different pieces of like why should this matter. And so like he talks about like the delight of reveling at somebody's misfortune, which like, hey, that's not happening to me. I'm excited that I'm not being publicly embarrassed, which is a thing. There is an assumption that they are rich based on their CEO, head of HR status. And so I think right now we definitely have like a French Renaissance moment of like, behead the riches. Like I think that there's a certain amount of that. And I can go on to the other ones, but I want to give other people a chance to talk.
Keep going. Amanda, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I want to I agree with you, Jessica. Like, I think there's definitely an element of this, like, eat the rich, like part of it. Because I'm thinking of the people I know in my orbit who like shared it, or like on social media, and we're laughing about it. Like, it's kind of like it's like sex and relationship therapists that I know online who are talking about it, and then others who are like these people in their privilege, they think they can get away with anything. And I'm kind of somewhere in the middle with like, honesty is really important to me. And so like, I would be so mortified if I was either of their spouses, but we don't know the whole story. I also like, I was like, what if their spouses knew they were there? Like, like who are we? Like I'm of many different minds on this, Jessica. So I love.
Well, and that was one of the things that they also talked about, of like that they're acting immorally. They're acting outside of what we judge or deem to be correct. And so passing judgment on that when we really don't know what their situation is.
We don't know, but I'm wondering, I mean, how many kiss cams had they just kissed? It would have never been anything. And so I think as a person who's very kind of can be very law of attraction manifestation type thing of, I don't even know what I want to say about that, of like being present, being okay with everything that you're doing, like a personal self-integrity, because it was their not being okay, I think, which has made it the world viral thing, right?
Yes.
And so they felt the need to hide. They felt the need to do something, where if it was just a normal kiss cam, it would probably have not gone beyond the millions of people that were at the concert. But no, I'm sorry, probably only 50,000.
Yeah, and then
50 to 100,000, depending on how big the stadium is. Definitely. It was that reaction. And so I think it's something to be said about how you're reacting to things that happen in your life, and how your reactions are going to bring about a tsunami of social media, or let's say just a tsunami in one way or the other, almost like the butterfly effect, and all of the actions and many actions we take about our lives. And so that's the part that's really intriguing to me is that like it would have been nothing if they just kissed and moved on. It would have been a regular kiss cam moment. And so it's very interesting. And then yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. Okay.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like my household. I have a 15-year-old, and if anybody has encountered a teenager potentially ever in your life, they're a little on the snarky side.
Oh yeah,
often. And so like my kid will regularly like, oh, you're so weird, and I'm like, yep, I am. I'm proud of being weird. I own it. Weird is in this house. Yeah, it's happening, and it's almost deflating to us sometimes. Like if she's trying to like get a rise out of me, it's deflating. And I think it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. I am owning my actions. And I think that is a really great point of when we're not owning our actions, what does that do? And how does that change how we're moving through the world? And how does that change how people respond to us moving through the world?
Yeah, that's so good. I love that mouth. The other thing I want to say is what came to mind for me, this is so silly, but it's just like, didn't y'all watch Cheaters? Like,
well, it's funny you said that, Natalie, because I have a client who's in like an kind of more or less open affair with a public official in their small town. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And she commented on it, and said like, they really effed around and found out, didn't they? And with the person I know who like commented on this, they were like, look, most of us have like a level of discretion when we move in these circles. And she was just so surprised. She was like, I thought there was a code to this stuff. And, you know, and then also followed it with like, just like a lot of people don't know what my situation is, we don't really know what theirs is. And so, you know, and that's what I just keep trying to remember. You know, my own, Jessica, you mentioned your teenager. My teenager like was making funny memes with it and their friends and this. And I was like, you know what, man? Like to my I was like, we don't know.
We don't know.
Well, and it's so funny because there's a part of Marty Klein's like he's talking about young people, and I'm just going to read this short paragraph. But if a single mistake can get your life ruined, who in their right mind would take a chance? Who would experiment? Who would be creative? Who would be their genuine self? While the answer to that is nobody, remember that young people are not in their right mind because they don't have one yet. Which, again, is super... Like, I feel like it's very problematic. One, this isn't about young people. These are grown-ass adults.
Yeah, very grown.
Who have know what the consequences are. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, we're also comparing I'm going to go and talk to a person that I am interested in and hope that they go out with me, to people, grown-ass adults, having an affair in public.
And I do wonder the in public part. Like, I wonder if they had some type of agreement with their spouses of you can cheat, but not in this state. Like, or you know, and how did it go?
I mean, based on how things shook out, I don't think that there was an agreement, or they felt socially obligated to provide the reaction that so many people called for.
Wow. Okay. So I don't pay attention to the end of the story. So what happened? Do y'all know the fallout?
But I've seen like both of the statements debunked, like from spouses and from them. Who knows what's like true and what's not on the internet now? But you know, Jessica, in response to Marty Klein, like I feel like that's such like a false equivocation about like kids and trying things. Like since I came of age in the 90s where the internet was becoming a thing, and even then, my mom and dad were like, the internet's forever, and we know even more now. And these people are in like tech, like they are. The internet is forever. Yeah. So I don't really, you know, I don't think I agree with Marty Klein on this one, and I really.
Well, the CEO resigned. Like according to CBS News, he resigned from his position as CEO.
Yeah. I'm sure most CEO contracts have some type of morality clause and things like that. And so I'm sure they were able to say, essentially you've caused a negative light for us. So I really hope though that he is not like irrevocably financially damaged from this. I wouldn't want that to happen for them. I hope he's able to, bounce back, find a new job. It might be.
I feel like in this climate, if nothing else, there might be people that hire him just because of it.
Right.
You're willing to take risks for what you want. I like that in a person.
You're a renegade, Maverick.
I hope so. I wish that the best for them. Okay. All right. What else? What other comments have y'all been hearing about it? It's so interesting. I saw it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And kept it moving. And people were just like, it's a thing. It's a conversation.
Well, another part of his letter is talking about ambient surveillance. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tom Cruise's Minority Report.
Yeah, years ago I watched.
Years ago. Years ago. It's not like the theme of the movie. It's the level of technology to where when he walks through a mall, they do a retinal scan and tailor the ads to the person that's walking by. Like that was a big reason why he got like eye replacements, because he was hunted and they do so many retinal scans that is how they're identifying people. And it makes me think of like how much technology, how many cameras are out there to where we have gotten almost blasé about like, yeah, I'm probably on a camera. There's not anything I can do about it.
Because I think it feels like that right now. And this is it, Minority Report, Enemy of the State, I think, which is an old movie I barely remember as well. But and think about this. These are movies that we're talking about that were years ago.
Oh, I'm the other side. You guys, we're being monitored all the time. And that's not either. Like I've worked in that kind of work. Like it's just part of life. It's part of life. And I think that we have to, leave behind any sense of privacy.
But I think when we think of privacy and we think of intimacy, we think of them being typically like linked. And so like I was talking to my therapist the other day and she got onto her daughter for doing TikToks in bathroom. Like a bathroom should be a place where no one is expecting to be recorded. And now bathrooms from the teens, they have their phones everywhere.
Yeah. They do have their phones everywhere. As we learned going into COVID, right? When people would like be on work calls and go into the bathroom. Because it's just, I'm working and I'm doing the things of life and I'm working and I'm doing the things of life. And so, I think coming to terms with that, if you haven't done so already, is really important.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. Okay. What else? That's such an interesting topic. It's interesting because it was interesting to everybody else, which is just so funny. I feel like I just want to sit all cheaters down and say, okay, this is what we learned from the TV show Cheaters.
I have to say it like ignited my like further dislike or reminded my dislike for kiss cams. I'm a person and I come from a community where like a religious community where like PDA is like not really a thing. And because like I'm just a private person and like I don't love that pressure. I don't like that pressure that we put on people with things like kiss cams. I mean, I know like, there's even like some speculation. Was that like, were they sabotaged by another employee who was like making motions and pointing at them? Like there are different things floating out there, but I don't like the pressure of like kiss cams for PDA and things like, I mean, they may have been canoodling no matter what, but it's icky. Like it all just feels kind of icky to me. Or when they put them on kids and they're like, oh, they're in love, stuff like that. And I don't like that stuff.
It can be a lot of pressure. Even if you're in just like a regular kind of old fashioned monogamous relationship. I mean, the pressure to let's just start with young couples get married. The pressure to have kids
Yeah.
is there. The pressure to do this. Mistletoe in Christmas season, all that pressure. And so there is actually, now that you say it, like a lot of pressure out there on things that maybe you shouldn't have pressure on because you don't know what the person's reaction is going to be or how they're feeling.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Okay. Or even just in teenagers and the pressure to perform at, I don't know, a party or with friends or, to be seen as cool and accepted, what kind of pressure that is. And I know I have so many stories in my head of people whose sex lives aren't great now because of an adolescent pressure situation. And so I think that would be one good thing to take away from this is just be mindful of the pressure that we're putting on people.
Well, I think looking at the link between cool and sexual or sexual and adults to where like some of the things that my daughter sings about, I'm like, no, ma'am, we are not singing about not wearing panties in Walmart. What are we doing?
What?
That is a song. And she's like, I was just singing a song. And I'm like,
yeah.
Child.
It comes to mind that my 12-year-old daughter sings that is about oral sex on the radio. And I had a whole conversation with my kid because she was talking about, she's like, oh, it's this phrase and it means this. I'm like, that does not mean that. That does not mean that. This means something else. So like, I need you to know what this means. A sex therapist trying to couch it in like sex positive, but also you're a kid. So
yeah.
That's so interesting. I think the question is, because I remember singing songs and not really understanding. And now that I'm older and I listen to the words, I'm like, what? What?
Yeah. What? It makes me think of the song, like, I Touch Myself. Like that was like when I think about you. And then they're just like, oh, like, and they're like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Yep.
You almost have to educate to get them just like, so do you want to educate? But you keep thinking it's the rubbing your hair or something.
But then you have the context of moving it into different spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we need to know that people are not going to respond the same way.
Yeah.
To every single lyric, regardless of whether or not, well, you know what it means. Other people know what it means. And that may be signaling for things that you are not intending.
Oh my God, that's so true. I've had that happen in life in general. Like, wait a minute, what do you think I meant? No.
Backing that up.
That's not what I meant. It was one time, it was a long time ago. It's like a dating app or something. And I was up in the middle of the night on the dating app. And the guy was like, oh, okay. And something. I was like, whoa, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. No, I'm bored. I can't.
I'm just up, man. Like I'm not looking. Yeah.
Like, okay. Might need to learn the rules of this online dating world.
Well, and with Amanda mentioning about like the privacy thing, I kind of had the thought in the other direction of like, who goes to things for that PDA, who wants to be exposed, who wants to be caught, who wants to play with the edge of inappropriate behavior in public.
Yeah.
Because there are groups.
There are groups, exhibitionists and voyeurists who are all trying to be a part of that. Okay. I want this to be practical to our client. Okay. So if you guys had to say something that was practical for your clients, a takeaway that they could use in their life, what would it be?
I think I would say accountability. Like, own your mistakes. And this is like, I worked with a couple when they were fighting and I was like, nobody is owning their stuff. Like, you have got to say what you're responsible for. Like, yeah, I did this. It didn't have the best effect. That was not my intention, but it didn't have the best effect and I'm responsible for that. Like,
that's really good. Okay. Amanda, what would you say?
I think the importance of discretion. Giving it and using discretion as these people were not, but also like being discreet in how we like treat other people. Like we don't know the whole story, and we might see a friend or a neighbor or our partner. I guess I wouldn't include a friend or a neighbor doing something that might seem suspect, but we might not know the whole story. So give discretion, practice discretion. We don't always know what people have going on.
That's good. I think of the practical thing I would want people to do and take away is alignment. It's just alignment with what you're thinking, what you're doing, with your actions. And so honest to God, I think there's now I'm going to sound like woo-woo Christian-y. I don't necessarily want to sound like this, but I think that's the way it's going to come out. Like that's my background. It just comes out like that every now and then. But I really feel like when you are in alignment with your actions, it makes your world smoother. And so whatever that alignment looks like for you, owning whatever you need to own, being whoever you need to be, and okay being it. Yeah. And I think this is an extreme case of misalignment, but there's small cases, even in marriages, I think, where couples aren't truthful with their truth. I'm sure I wasn't supposed to use the word to define a word. So where people aren't
honest and reflective with their truth. And
in relationships. And so if you're not happy in a relationship for whatever reason, get in alignment with where your happiness is or what you're willing to do or not do. And live as best you can, live in alignment. That's what I want for you, as best you can. And so that's it. Anything else I want to say today before we let the fabulous people get back to their fabulous life?
I think you summed it up really well, Natalie. Like alignment. I think attunement, congruence, like all that stuff. Like just be straight.
Yeah. Oh, but the internet's going to keep being the internet, so we'll see what couple gets in trouble next. All right, ladies, y'all have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.